Okay, when I say the word Saturn, what's the first thing you picture? I'm guessing it's something like this, right? This majestic, silent giant just hanging out in the blackness of space. Its rings look so perfect, like a symbol of cosmic peace, of something permanent. It's an image that has just captivated us for centuries.
I mean, for as long as we've been able to point a telescope at the sky, Saturn has been the serene jewel of our solar system. It just seems so stable, so constant, just this beautiful, unchanging thing out there while everything else is in motion. But what if that's completely wrong? What if that peaceful image is just a facade, hiding something chaotic? Because, recent discoveries have just shattered our old ideas. They show that Saturn isn't quiet at all. It's this dynamic, interconnected, and get this, surprisingly violent system. So, yeah, let's dive right in.
And where do we start? Well, the first clue to all this hidden chaos is right there in plain sight in its most famous feature, those incredible rings. Turns out, they're not at all what they seem.
From way out here, they look like solid, glowing disks, right? But if you get up close, like NASA's Cassini spacecraft did, you realize, wow, they're actually a massive blizzard. We're talking trillions of individual particles of ice and rock. Some are as small as a grain of sand, others are the size of a house. And they're all orbiting the planet in this incredibly thin sheet.
So you gotta ask, how does this chaotic blizzard stay so perfectly organized? The secret is amazing. It's these tiny little moons that act like cosmic sheepdogs. Seriously, we call them shepherd moons. You've got moons like Pandora and Prometheus, and they literally patrol the edges of the F-ring using their gravity to herd all those stray particles back into line. And the way it works is it's beautiful. The inner moon, it moves a little faster than the ring particles, so it gives them a little gravitational kick, pushing them into a higher orbit. Then, the outer moon is moving slower, so it kind of puts the brakes on them, causing them to fall into a lower orbit. These two forces work together perfectly, squeezing the particles into this razor-sharp band. It's this constant, elegant gravitational dance.
But here's the thing, that herding isn't perfect, and this is where it gets really interesting. We now know the rings aren't just this separate thing around the planet. They're actively interacting with it. It's like Laffy Ben Jeffel said, we knew the rings were slowly disintegrating, but the surprise was how much that was actually influencing the planet itself.
So here's the absolute key. There's a constant ring rain. Icy particles are literally being pulled out of the rings by Saturn's gravity. And as they fall, they slam into the upper atmosphere, heating it up. This makes the hydrogen gas there glow with this extra ultraviolet radiation. And this discovery, which, by the way, took 40 years of data to piece together, was the first solid proof that the rings and the planet aren't separate things. They're one deeply connected dynamic system.
Okay, so this trail of evidence, this ring rain, it doesn't just stop there. It actually leads us deeper, right into Saturn's atmosphere. And this is where the mystery really starts to ramp up.
Now, if you're talking about Saturn's atmosphere, you have to talk about the hexagon. It's this totally bizarre, six-sided jet stream at the North Pole. I mean, this thing is huge. You could fit almost 4 Earths inside of it. We've known it's been there since the Voyager missions back in the 80s, and we've always thought of it as this permanent feature.
But just when we thought we kinda had a handle on it, the James Webb Space Telescope took a closer look and found something completely out of left field, hiding way up in the thin upper layers of the atmosphere, hundreds of kilometers above the hexagon, were these strange new structures that have just left scientists scratching their heads.
Okay, check this out. Webb found 2 totally new things. Way up in the ionosphere, we're talking about 1,100 kilometers high, there's this chain of dark, bead-like features just drifting through the aurora. Then, about 500 kilometers below that, in the stratosphere, there's this bizarre, lopsided star pattern. It looks like it should have 6 points, but for some reason only 4 of them are visible.
And this is the real kicker. Why in the world would these features way up high in the atmosphere line up almost perfectly with the corners of the hexagon that's raging hundreds of kilometers below? It's like the evidence is pointing to this massive atmospheric column, a vertical connection that stretches all the way from the deep clouds to the very edge of space. We've never seen anything like it before. Anywhere.
So, to figure out what could possibly be causing this incredible connection, this vertical highway in the atmosphere, scientists knew they had to go even deeper. They had to look inside Saturn's very heart, its core.
But how do you even study the core of a gas giant? It's not like you can land a probe on it. Well, the solution they came up with was just brilliant. As Jim Fuller from Caltech said, they used Saturn's rings like a giant seismograph. They literally turned the planet's most famous feature into a scientific instrument.
So here's how this ring seismology works. Deep inside, Saturn's core is constantly sloshing around, vibrating. These movements create these tiny little waves in the planet's gravity field, and the rings, they're super sensitive to gravity, so they start to ripple in response to those waves. By studying those faint ripples with data from Cassini, scientists could basically work backward to figure out what the vibrations were and map the structure of the core itself. Just amazing.
And what they found completely flipped the script. For decades, the theory was that Saturn had this small, solid, hard ball of rock at its center. Like a little marble inside a giant ball of gas. But the new discovery? Nope, it's not a solid ball at all. It's this massive, fuzzy, or slushy core. More like a diffuse soup of ice, rock, and metallic fluids that just kind of blends into the layers above it.
And the scale here is it's hard to wrap your head around. This slushy core stretches across 60% of the planet's entire diameter. It's 55 times more massive than the entire Earth. So you've got this enormous, sloshing heart that's generating the vibrations that travel out to the rings and could be the engine driving those weird connected storms high up in the atmosphere.
Okay, let's recap. We've connected the rings to the atmosphere. We've connected the atmosphere to a giant sloshing core. The whole Saturn system is basically one big, chaotic, interconnected machine. But now we get to the final and honestly the most shocking piece of the puzzle.
Okay, first number, 4.5 billion years. That's roughly how old Saturn is. It formed with the rest of our solar system and has been around for pretty much the whole story.
Now, the second number. The rings, they're less than 400 million years old. They're brand new. For over 90% of Saturn's life, it didn't have rings. To put that in perspective, dinosaurs roamed the Earth for a longer time than those rings have even existed.
And here's the last number, 100 million years. That's how long the rings have left. That ring we talked about, it's pulling them down. And in what is just the blink of an eye in cosmic time, they'll be gone.
So what does this all mean? It means that our icon of cosmic permanence, that serene, unchanging giant, is anything but. It's a temporary masterpiece, a fleeting spectacle. We just happen to exist in this very narrow window of time when Saturn has its rings. We are unbelievably lucky to be here to see it.
And that leaves you with one last, kind of profound thought, doesn't it? If Saturn's rings are just a temporary show, it really makes you wonder, what other incredible, fleeting, cosmic wonders are happening out there right now that we just happen to be lucky enough to see at just the right moment?